Yo. We live, baby. We live. I'm gonna let some folks get in the building before I go in. But, yeah. Ooh, it's windy. Let me stop. So, I just had this insight kind of come through. And, I'm going to go live and share it with the folks. So, how much energy are you giving? Right? Yo, Dreeville, what's good, man? What's good? Hope all's well with you, man. See you out there working. But yeah, how much energy are you giving to the situations you in, right? So, a little bit of TMI, right? I'm a very energetic person. I know it don't always seem like that, but that's because I specifically do that, right? I'm a very energetic person by nature, right? So, whenever I do anything, it's always just full steam ahead. You know what I'm saying? Almost like overwork it in a way, right? That's what I do whenever I'm in situations or I'm dealing with people or whatever. I try to give 100%. It's either 100% with me or none of me. Like, there's no in between. There's no, ain't none of that. It's either all of me or none of me. That's my energy, right? And so part of my journey has been watching how much energy I give, right? Watching how much energy I put out, because I don't care about being tired, right? I ain't stressed about, not getting something done or, peace, Kev, peace. Yeah, like when it comes to me working, like I'm big on, not stopping till it's finished. And like, even when it's finished, like I still want to keep going. Like I still want to keep working. Right. So, I kind of like, while I was walking, I was just like, you know what I mean? How much energy are we putting into the things around us, right? If it's important to you and you're not putting the right amount of energy in, right? Putting in the work. Now, as a sidebar, I think that your mindset is more important than the work you put in, because if your mind is not in the right place when you're doing the work, you're not going to succeed anyway. Right. So, I'm big on cultivating mindset. And then once the mindset is cultivated, you got to do work. Simple. But the trick is, what you love shouldn't feel like work. Like, you should love doing it. But that again goes back to my question. Like, are we putting in all the energy that we can for every situation? Right. And that could be in relationships, right? Because what you get out, what you put back, right? But if you're giving with nothing, you get back nothing. You know what I mean? But we don't really have nothing, right? We always have something to give. Kind words, insight, whatever it is, Like, nothing means no thing, right? So you have no physical thing to give, but that doesn't mean you don't have anything to give, right? But when you give from an empty space, or when you put out energy from an empty space, like when you put out energy when you tired, bruh, whatever you make, that shit gonna be looking tired. Like, whatever you do, that joint gonna be looking tired. You know what I mean? So, ask yourself today, man. This is just a quick reflection while I'm walking home from work, right? Ask yourself if you're putting 100% energy into things that's serving you, And keyword is things that's serving you. Because sometimes we put the energy into things that don't serve us, but actually hinder and distract us. You know what I mean? Especially over here in the West, we get overly obsessed with our interests sometimes. Like, instead of doing what's necessary for us to do what it is we need to do, right? And I'm not saying you don't do what you love. And it is a little unfortunate that we in this era where we can't just automatically jump in and do what we love. We have to do what we don't want to do to survive. or at least make a living off of what we don't want to make a living off of to survive, right? So you got a lot of people doing jobs so they can survive. You know what I mean? Why aren't your basic needs met? Right? Why is the people that's supposed to be taking care of you not meeting your needs? We're not taking care of you, but you're giving away some of your power so that these people can, give you benefits and privileges and whatnot. We call them the government, but they ain't doing their job. But that's tough for another time. So if you really love, let's say, painting, right? If you love being a painter, if you love painting, why aren't you putting your and I'm not saying it has to be all the time, right? See, we sometimes, and I know I have, we consume how long we do something with the amount of energy that we put into it, right? Man, I could be, example, I'm walking, right? Man, I could be walking as far as hell and not give a damn about how far I'm walking, right? So, just because we've been doing something a long time doesn't necessarily mean we're putting our maximum energy into it, right? How many people that, let's say, I didn't want to say music because music too easy because I'm an artist, but people want to, fix cars. But whenever they fix cars, they always half-ass and whatever, or they get caught up having to do something else, right? And then they don't get to put their energy in that. And, I get people gotta survive, right? I understand that. But I also think you can make time for what you want, right? So if you really want to do something, you're going to make time for it. So there's that. But you can't, even if you, let's say you got a busy schedule, right? And you do something for an hour a day. Okay. So let's just say for 1 hour a day, right? You got a busy schedule, you got children, you got whatever, right? For 1 hour a day, you can just hone in specifically on whatever it is your gift is, right? So for example, I'm a writer, right? So I make it my point, no matter how long I write for or what I write about or whatever it is. I scratch my head. It don't matter what it is. I'm going to write something every day, something. It can be a thought. It can be a verse. It can be an idea. It could be whatever it is. But I make it my point to write something. Doesn't mean that I'm going to be doing that all day. But, or even if you making beats, right? Now I keep referring to music because that's just me, right? But even if you making beats, right? You make one beat a day. Or you spend an hour making beats and give it your full undivided attention. And yeah, you can look at the time and say, oh, the time is really short, whatever. But if you do that every day, right? Those hours start to add up. You know what I mean? That time you putting in starts to add up. Because you're like, okay, you start to see improvement. You start to realize that, oh, man, I'm actually really good at this. Whatever the gift is, right? So intensity of energy has nothing to do with the frequency of energy. Well, they're related, but in other words, they're two different aspects, right? So frequency, we always talk about frequency, like raising your frequency and all of that, and the frequency of the radio, or being a frequent customer, right? It is how often you do something, right? How often you do something has nothing to do with the intent. Well, it is a separate part of how intense you do something. So, here's a funny example, right? I could punch somebody. That's extreme. I'm not a violent person, you know what I'm saying? But this was funny. You could punch somebody with a bunch of little punches, right? I could just does nothing to you, right? So that's a lot of frequency, but that's not intensity, right? Versus if I just went, you know what I'm saying, and try to deck somebody, right? Then that's intensity. But frequency, no, because it was one. So whenever we're putting energy into what we're doing, like, you know, the funny thing about time is that time is rate of change, right? So if things aren't changing a lot around you, then it's going to seem like time is moving slow. But if things are changing around you at a rapid pace, then it seems like time moving fast. Like, you know, you have them times where you feel like, man, time moving real slow, especially when you're not doing nothing. But when you really just working and you're involved and you're in that flow state, you look at the clock and you like, hey, where did time go? Right? So I say that to say we influence how fast or slow time moves. I know that sounds like, you know what I mean? It's a wild thing, but right, exactly. Just clock in, man. 1 hour, right? You don't have to have a lot of time. It's just you making, like, you making it your undivided attention, right? Because what's funny is, as you do what you love, you manifest things around it, right? So if you're just locking in on doing what you love, not worrying about money or nothing, just locking in, watch what you manifest, right? You might, opportunity pop up here. And it's just, mind you, it's just an hour of your day, 30 minutes, right? Then you can start talking about, okay, well, I've been doing it for an hour a day, about a week, whatever. Now, you know, I see an improvement. It's that and the third. Now, when you're at work, that's what you're thinking about. You're thinking about the moment when you get off work and you're able to, you know, lock that hour in. Okay, your money good because, okay, you had to do this shenanigans job to survive. But guess what? Now my money good. Oh, shoot. Now I could take the money I have, the little extra maybe $20, $30 I have every check and put that in a fund for my gift, right? This is called investing. You know what I'm saying? Oh, shoot. Now I got this money to invest. Whoopty whoop. Oh, look, this opportunity just happened to be happening in my city. Right? So now you see how the train can kind of just move in that way. So yeah, man. You know, my insight today was really just about how much energy we putting towards things, right? And I just encourage people to worry about how intense an energy is. Like, for example, like how intensely you do something rather than how often you do it, right? Once you focus on the intensity that works for you, that works for your energy, then you worry about the frequency, right? Because if you don't know what make you tired, then you're going to end up fatigued, and we don't do fatigue. So that's just my quick sense, man. I'm going to go ahead and slippity slide. But I hope y'all have a good day or night whenever you choose to watch this. And I hope it brought you some insight. I can't do peace because I got a bag in my hand. Nope, see, that didn't even work. All right. Peace, y'all. Peace.